Hi, everyone. I hope you guys are having an incredible day. So today is hold on, let me open this up. Today is day 13 of our 30-day challenge. And I am just going to share this post as usual. How's everybody doing? How was your week so far? I hope you guys had an incredible week. It's certainly been an amazing, transformative week for me, and I'm just really happy to be here. So let's go ahead and share this. If you guys can share this feed with whoever you'd like to share with, if this journey so far has been helpful to you, it would be wonderful to share it with people and family and friends that you think would benefit from this kind of work. So let's see. And if you guys have any questions, please put it down in the chat. I'd love to answer any kind of questions that you have about challenge, anywhere that you're having troubles, difficulties, blockages in the work. I've been getting so many messages about how great these sessions have been. And I would love to hear where you guys are having challenges so that we can help address them, because chances are if you're having trouble with some of these aspects, I'm sure other people are also as well. So it was so wonderful to connect with you. Hello, Future Whale. Hello, Angie. So good to see you. Joe Salcedo, good evening. Emily Howard, hi. Mr. Lindsay McDonald, Jason, RR2. It's amazing to see you guys. All right, let's get started. So today we're going to work on something that I call emotional review. And this is a technique that you can utilize at the end of your day. It's a very powerful technique that helps you kind of review all of the emotions that you've been feeling throughout your day so that you can become more acquainted with what you need on a daily basis. And it's a really powerful practice to begin to practice every day of your life. And hopefully for the rest of this challenge, this is something that you begin to you utilize as a technique throughout your day. So welcome RR2, welcome Cedric, welcome Zarelda, Greg Herrera. I still don't understand completely how to remove cords. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. Love, 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 greetings all. I'm having a challenge with getting triggered of my insecurities. Okay, that's a really good one. I'm a powerful and in love. I am JR. Hi, Geraldine. Hi, so good to see you. So Greg Herrera, thank you for asking your question about how to remove cords. Essentially, I went really deep into that topic yesterday, where we talked about removing emotional cords. So essentially, it comes down to this. Cords are created anytime that we place meaning on something that is occurring to us. When we place meaning, or in other words, we judge what's happening, positive or negative event, we create an energetic connection to what we're judging. This can be a person, it can be a place, it can be a certain experience that you're having. And that cord ties you and crystallizes in the intent of the judgment that you're placing on this person, place, or thing. So in order to remove it, all that has to happen essentially is that we begin to remove that judgment that we created and create neutral observation of the people, place, or thing that we're exchanging with. This is the most powerful way to neutralize cords that we're creating within the body. And it also allows you to take back your life force, because any intention that you direct in a certain direction is your life force that is attaching to something, and therefore it's interacting with this other object, person, thing. And that interaction is giving and taking, giving and receiving, but usually the one that is more conscious of the interaction is the one that's going to be receiving more. So if we are unconscious of these intentions and judgments that we place, people, places, and things throughout our day, we could actually be draining our life force in many different directions without our awareness. So the idea is that as you begin to take back and become aware of the cord that was created by your judgment, that you begin to neutralize that judgment, take back your life force, and therefore now no longer have this connection where your energy is siphoning out of the physical body. And so this is actually on the deepest level, how to deprogram from those cords that are created. And on a more energetic level, you visualize removing that cord from your body or letting go of that judgment that you placed on this person, place, or thing. And a lot of times these cords, they can look like anything from tentacles to slushy black cords or materials, stuff like that, that you can begin to remove out. What you're visualizing is important to you. It's meaningful to you because, you need to understand what is stagnant in your energetic space. And so the more that you remove that out of the body, the more you open in order for life force to move freely through the multidimensional body. Okay, and that allows you to begin to have a nice energetic flow throughout the body, open up your space, and just allow for all that to begin moving in. Okay. All right, so thank you for that question. I hope that answers that question. I will do more videos on that topic, and I also do have other videos that I've done previously on that topic that you can check out in previous challenges. Love says, I'm having a challenge with getting triggered in my insecurities. So this is where we need to go to the root of the insecurity. And the root of the insecurity is usually a memory, usually in childhood or a previous time in which we experienced something that made us believe, that created a program in our subconscious mind that we are unworthy, not good enough, not lovable, or some part of us is unacceptable. Okay. And so what that means is we have to address the parts of us that, first of all, externally, we took on the belief that we are unacceptable. But the next level from that, if you review your life and you can't find an event where that occurred or that you remember that occurred, chances are you have that experience in your life. But let's say you can't find that experience. We need to look at the relationship that we have with ourselves and the judgments that we have towards ourselves. Our relationship with judgment towards ourselves and others is the basis for any kind of insecurities that we are holding within us. So if we begin to address our judgments, the things that we criticize about ourselves, the things that we don't like about ourselves, that we judge, that we say are not good enough, or that we reject, or that we don't want to see about ourselves, these are the roots of our insecurities. And so to overcome insecurities, we need to look at all the parts of ourselves, all of the shadows, the imperfections, seemingly imperfect parts of ourselves, the dark sides of ourselves, and begin to understand them, okay, as a part of ourselves, as a result of cause and effect of experiences, adopted perceptions, ideas, beliefs about ourselves. And we need to ask ourselves, are they really true? Is it true that we are unworthy? Is it true that this part of me is unacceptable? And dive into that in order to understand a new way of seeing yourself without judgment. This will begin to deprogram all of the root belief systems of separation that we have created internally. And it creates an incredibly strong foundation of reunification of your internal self. And when this happens, you begin to know yourself inside out because you've taken the time to look at all of your shadows and all the parts of yourself that you fear or that you judge or that you want to be separate from yourself. And what you'll notice is that a lot of these judgments that we have internally towards ourselves are things that we judge externally or vice versa. So the more we do that work, the more we begin to unify the vision from separation into unity. And this makes us, in a sense, invincible and unbreakable. we create a very strong foundation in who we are. We know ourselves inside out because we know our shadows and we know our lights. And therefore, when someone comes and tries to tell you something about who you are, obviously, you will acknowledge that and assess because you know yourself so well. It cannot harm you. It will not be able to cause any insecurities, any fears. Insecurities happen because we haven't taken the time to face and look at our shadows. And therefore, we become enslaved to anything that we fear in ourselves. It becomes the theme for our lives, and it becomes the theme for the repetitive patterns of the experiences that we experience. So this is very important to begin to address. All of us should dig very deep for insecurities and try to work on those roots. Okay, so we'll work on insecurities tomorrow. I was going to do that today, actually, but we can, or perhaps we can change today's theme. Let me see. Emily Howard says, I jumped in around a week and I am still trying to be able to visualize without thinking too much. It feels fake at my point or level, but I know to keep trying. Emily, can you clarify what you mean? I'd love to help and kind of begin to look at it. So Angie says, the triggers make me very emotional. I'm finding it hard to be an observer when I become emotional. Yeah, so that's another very important point that happens. And this is why training ourselves to observe our emotions is going to be one of the most powerful tools in our toolbox in this process of being human, because emotions are multi-layered. They are energy, they are emotion, they are nervous system, they are encoded and programmed in our physical body as a physiological, psychological, and emotional response. So there are many layers to emotions, and we respond in these multi-layered ways. We're not just responding in one way. We think we might just be speaking or we might be thinking, but in fact, it's a multi-layered, multi-dimensional response. And this is why emotions have so much power in creating our lives and affecting timelines that we're experiencing. So the more that we can embody the observer that observes these emotions, we begin to learn about them. As an observer, you can begin to learn. When you stay still looking at something, you have time to look at every line, every part, every angle, so you can study the object and you get to know it very well. And we want to do that with emotions because we get to understand the many ranges, the many layers, and become aware of how we are affected by each of these emotions. Now, another technique to assist you in helping you is by closing the first three chakras. This is a very, very powerful technique that has really changed my entire life when I first started using that. Intuitively closing the chakras, the first, second, and third, immediately, because as I mentioned before, these are the centers of the motor of this sensory experience, this sensory hologram we call everyday life experiences, are all layers created by the first three chakras. And the first three chakras are the layers of the hologram that we are experiencing. And so when these are out of balance, our perception and what we experience is also out of balance. Okay, we call in a lot of traumas, angers, these out of balanced experiences that we start experiencing all the time. So it's really important to train ourselves to come into a state of observation, non-judgmental observation. So I hope that helps in doing that observation, okay? I guess the last thing I will say about training yourself to be an observer is not getting stuck in the sensory body. Because what happens is, because these are multi-layered emotions, we are used to feeling and feeding, because, when we're used to having a lot of heavy emotions like fears, anxieties, You know, it's kind of like when we have sugar addiction, for example, it's not just us that craves the sugar now, because after a lifetime of eating sugar, we have parasites in the biome that make us, that trigger thoughts, feelings, and emotions that will allow those parasites to feed. They literally change your sleep rhythm. The parasites in the biome can change the way that you're feeling, your hormones. They can mess with the amount of water that you drink. So it can even change. Well, aside from the hormone levels, the sugar and the blood level, energy levels that you have in your body, and manipulate them in order to be able to feed and make you reach for something made out of sugar. So if you think about that, that kind of dynamic that we have with the parasites within us also is connected to our emotional body. Okay. And our emotional body is very much manipulated by the biome. That's why having a healthy biome is really important in our work. And it's something that naturally has to be cleaned and detoxed in this work as you begin to manage all areas of your life. But in the same way that we have these parasites in the biome that crave sugar, for example, we have parasites in our energetic field that crave anger, fears, especially fears, and all of the emotions that range from fears and are constantly triggering these emotions in us. And so we are addicted to the feeling, and oftentimes it becomes very comfortable because someone is surviving with those emotions. They feel protected by fear. They feel protected by keeping us in a state of survival. And when they have you in a state of survival, then you're making all kinds of choices that are not really in alignment with your highest self, creating more suffering and suffering. So the amazing part about, waking up, becoming conscious out of this hypnosis is that you break those kinds of parasitic cycles and addictions that we have to suffering. A lot of us are addicted to even being victims of things, whatever it is. We just want to be in victim mode. We want to be fearful. We want to be in survival. We want to hide. We want to shrink. All of these things that we become addicted to. So this is a process of helping ourselves get new tools so that we know that we don't always have to hold on to these addictive behaviors and gently wean off them into emotional understandings and states energetically that are more supportive for you, that will feel more nourishing. And because a lot of us don't know love, the moment you understand love, you'll be able to feel love, and that will be the most nourishing thing for your entire energetic field. Okay, and that will be very easy to be able to observe emotions. All right. Yeah, thank you so much, Greg. I'm so glad. Having many triggers and energies of anger and impatience. Okay, so let's talk about triggers today. We'll work with triggers today. Love has no obstacles. That's right. Is it normal for triggers to come back later in the day, even after having transmuted initially? I did 2 meditations today, thought it was better. Now feeling even more is creeping up. Okay, so see, when you do this meditation and so the thing is that through deprogramming, you have to understand the patterns that leading up to these emotions. And this is why I advise to go back to the root. We need to find the root. It means we haven't found the root. And it means that we haven't addressed the fragment that has suffering in that root. So it would require you to go back to that fragment of yourself that has suffered and heal it, healing it by providing that part of you everything that it requires in order to never feel that way again. In the process of identifying what it needs, this creates a new neural pathway in your brain. It's a toolkit for you. So next time you start to feel that or you become triggered, and you identify. And also the part two is that it means that we're not being in the present moment. It means that we're in a state of survival still, thinking about the future or thinking about the past. If we're in the present moment, we can identify the trigger before we react to it. And that's exactly the moment where we say it's creeping up. Okay, so observation in the present moment means that you're aware of it when the trigger comes. So as that trigger comes, okay, before you react, notice the emotions that want to come up. And immediately remember in that session, what was the solution? What was the healing for the fragment of yourself that felt that way in that moment? Immediately fill yourself with that solution. Fill yourself with that healing. And the thing is that the ego, because it's in the middle of an interaction with someone that's triggering you, sometimes unconsciously, most of the time, their triggers are unconscious, and sometimes they are seemingly conscious. It just means they're even more unconscious because they think they're consciously triggering you. But this trigger that they're creating and sending in your direction is meant for their parasites to feed off your anger and your reaction. So you have to think there's two ways here. In a sense, we are both unconscious people that are only looking for love. And the sooner we begin to see the world like that, we are all just children looking for love. And in these childish experiences of trying to find love, we trigger one another in order to fulfill parts of us that we think are going to get love through this suffering, but in fact, we don't. So we're learning how to re-educate ourselves on how to become human again, how to become compassionate, and how to love unconditionally, how to see yourself as light and be able to see the other as light as well. And in that process of presence and awareness, you can then choose to embody this love. And even if the other person is angry or upset, when you shift your frequency, when that person throws energetic trigger towards you, because there's no resonance, it's not going to bounce back. It's not going to feel dense. It's not going to feel like someone is there ready to play and participate in this exchange. It's going to feel empty energetically. And this is another technique that I will teach you guys in another day. But body of glass, I've talked about this in other courses. When we change our frequency, when we literally imagine ourselves in a state of neutrality, closing the chakras, but also coming into a state of invisibility, the invisible body, energy goes right through you. This is a technique that's utilized in combat, in Qigong and Tai Chi, because we redirect the energy that is being thrown at us, whether it's emotional energy, whether it's somebody punching you. And your intuition and your presence and connection to your body allows you to intuitively move, redirecting energy through the body, rather than if you're resisting, it creates a wall and it gives the other person something to punch, something to reflect what is being given. The idea is the more neutral we become, we are not giving something to reflect. It goes right through. And what happens is that the other person will feel more depleted in a sense because they're not getting what they want from the interaction. And initially, we are going to feel like we're going into vulnerability. The ego self will say, oh, we're becoming very vulnerable right now. And this is probably danger, red flag. You need to react and you need to respond. But with practice and by training the nervous system and being present and doing the work to find the tools that you need to replace this fear, which is love, you surround yourself with love, come into a state of neutrality, and immediately will shift the dynamic of the exchange that you're having. So it can be a very profound change. And this happens over time. So I want you to be very compassionate with yourself. If you're thinking too much in the future and not in the present moment, this is why changes are not happening. We just have to be in the present moment, no expectation for yourself or anyone else. It's not just about sitting and doing the meditation. It's about becoming the meditation. You become the observer. You're in constant meditation, constant presence, so that you can become aware of what is happening, what, where, and how. Okay? So I hope that helps, Siobhan. Thank you for being here. And please keep me informed. Let me know how it's going if you have any more questions. Okay? Excellent. Hi, Jason. So good to see you. Heart Traveler, Luana. Craig, I've noticed for myself, if there's multiple levels to the same trauma or insecurity, that needs to be healed. Exactly, Craig. You got it. Multi-layered, lots of layers. So, and remember that we have an entire life that we want to address. We want to deprogram. And this sounds daunting and ridiculous, like you're never going to get there. But if I was able to do it in 2 months, okay, meditating many hours, but if I was able to do it in that short amount of time, you can definitely do it within, let's say, a year, meditating an hour a day or 30 minutes a day. It's just a matter, it's actually, as soon as you understand your patterns, you'll see all of the experiences in your life as repetitive patterns, nothing more. So it'll become very easy to begin to address all of these memories. And once we do our current lifetime, you go into your past lifetime, you're going to find the same thing. It's just cyclical patterns. You're going to go into interdimensional aspects, cyclical patterns, different levels. So it's really, this existence in the human quantum field is really a beautiful experience. And once you understand it, you can begin to unlock the real magic of life. So, please keep going. Caleb, so good to see you. Thank you so much, Jason. I am the powerful light. I have found all emotions directly linked to an expectation of being met or not met. That's awesome. That's right. That's exactly right. And that tells you so much right there. It tells you so much. I keep peeling layers of an onion. That's right. Greg says, I'm experiencing the same issue, management of the emotions. Yeah. Melinda Crocker, I still get triggered by specific trauma. However, I'm finding I react less and less. Beautiful. Beautiful. Nothing became, everything because we believe in something. Emily Howard, well, I meant during your meditations, it's very subtle for me to visualize, for instance, to envision or imagine the chakras and energy colors and shapes, and I feel like I'm doing it with my ego. Oh, okay. Okay, well, let's try to do it with the observer. The ego wants to probably define things and make sure things are going a certain way. But again, I want you to experience your own thing. I'm giving you the outline just based on what we have within the body. And you explore. You don't expect anything. Just explore within your body and observe as much as you can. Angie says, closing the first 3 chakras have been helping me so much. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good evening. So Joe said, I can't clear my head and meditate. I have tried everything, not sure what I'm doing wrong. Okay, well, Joe, don't focus on clearing, just because then we get hung up on, oh my gosh, did I clear it? Did I not clear it? And then even that is a thought. Thoughts are infinite. We're going to have infinite thoughts all the time. The thing is to not make your thoughts the enemy, okay? The judgment is what we don't need. So as soon as you relieve yourself of judgment, it's just going to be an observation. You're watching the thoughts, you see them exist, and you focus again on the breath, okay? And think of it as a moment of just focusing on keeping the body in a state of relaxation, in complete stillness, as still as you can. Focus on being still, focus on breathing, and just that focus over a couple of weeks will train the monkey mind to begin to calm down. Because the monkey mind is the one that goes into all the thoughts and brings them into the space. This is a technique that I advise everyone to practice for as much as you can. Basic Vipassana meditation, which is breathing, stillness, calming of the body. For me, I also had a very overactive mind. very ADHD as a child, ADHD all my life. And this is why I can speak to an overactive mind, because I myself have an incredibly overactive mind. And I didn't think I'd be able to meditate. For me, this is where active meditation really helped me. Using visualizations and focusing on the working with the energetic body was the key for me to meditate and be able to sustain that awareness. Because through visualization and feeling body, I gave my brain something to focus on and something to perceive. And that allowed me to go deeper into what I was experiencing emotionally, mentally, physically, my thoughts, my feelings, the energy around me. All of those things in a state of observation really helped me focus. So if this running energy meditation, where we close the first 3 chakras, I really would love for you to try that, Joe, and focus on closing the first 3 chakras, opening the top chakras, and you're going to run energy. So if your mind is focusing on running energy through the body, you're going to breathe and stay calm, then begin to notice working actively with the thoughts that come up and the emotions. And this is how we begin to deprogram. Okay, so let's see. Non-judgmental witnesses and digging into the emotions will often uncover the unexpectation that you're holding of a situation, yourself, another. Definitely having clear thinking requires a healthy biome. Yeah. Let's see here. I've been fighting the sugar addiction for a while now. Yeah, that's little by little, little by little. I don't know why. Hey, welcome. Could questions addressed to Geraldine? Please put them in caps. Yes, please. Thank you so much. Your pure essence, I want. Thank you so much, Jason. Angelina says, I agree. I finally detoxed completely from the sugar. I feel amazing, more clearer, and connected to my inner self. That's awesome. Me too. You're nothing but your own mind. Awesome. And Siobhan, thank you so much. We're training to break the spell. That's right. That's right. That's exactly what we're doing. Hi, Veronica. All right, guys. So let's get started. Katie Tian, so good to see you. All right, lovies, let's get started. So I was wanting to focus on emotional review, but I think because so many people have been talking about triggers, let's go ahead and talk about triggers, okay? So now, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago, the triggers that we have in the body are multi-layered. So a lot of things are going to bring those triggers up. We are learning how to support the nervous system and how to support the muscle system of the body, every layer of the body, even the organs storing muscle memory. So it's important to clear the muscle memory of traumas and emotions of the body every day. And the more we train ourselves to do this on a daily basis, we begin to create a really awesome foundation for the body to begin to come into a state of neutrality easily. Okay, so in today's meditation, we're going to begin to work with all the triggers that we had today, and we're going to begin to address them at their root. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start by inhaling deeply and exhaling. Okay, we're just going to focus on our breath. Focusing on the cessation of the oxygen entering and leaving the body. And as we focus on the feeling of the oxygen entering and leaving the body, you might notice that lots of thoughts want to come into the mind. We're just going to redirect the attention without any judgment of those thoughts, just into the breath and into maintaining absolute stillness in this body. That means that we don't have any tics, we're not moving our hands, we're not moving our legs, we're not readjusting our body. We are sitting completely still. And for some of us that use movement as a coping mechanism of redirecting energy, this is going to be really uncomfortable for you at the beginning. So I want you to go ahead and just sit in stillness as you allow the body to just let those waves of discomfort kind of move through the body. Because right now we are used to redirecting our energy by moving. And it creates a rhythm of energy depletion that we've become addicted to. So as you stay still, it will allow that, it's going to feel like waves of like, oh, you really want to move, but you're going to just sit through that discomfort. And the more you breathe into those areas of discomfort in the body, the more you allow the area to expand and to relax into those areas. Breathing deeply. You might feel a buzzing sensation around the body the stiller you become. All of the sensations around you might feel heightened. Any sounds, emotions that trigger you, they might become heightened. We're just going to breathe and sit still, training the nervous system to disengage with the interaction of these things. All the mechanical responses that we want to do in this moment of discomfort, we're just going to allow our body to breathe through them. Okay. So now that we're here, go ahead and focus on creating the sphere around your body. And go ahead and make sure that your sphere or your bubble around your body is completely solid, intact, one piece, all around you without any openings, any tears. This will bring you into an even deeper level of calm. Because as we mentioned yesterday, these holes in your energetic space, in your auric sphere, are energetic drainage that leaves you depleted or that triggers you into reactions that cause depletion. So we're going to take a moment to own our space now. Breathing deeply. Just noting how much of our energy is spent and dedicated to being in a constant state of survival, constant state of struggle. Just breathing. With every breath you take, as you allow yourself to become more calm and your sphere around you to become fully solid in one piece all around you. Okay, we're going to start by focusing on the root chakra at the base of the spine. I want you to take a nice deep breath into that root chakra. Inhale and exhale. And as you exhale, you're going to visualize shrinking the chakra. It's a double-sided vortex down to the size of a dime. Okay. Breathing. You're going to go up to the Sacral Chakra, breathing deeply into the Sacral Chakra. Breathing out, exhaling, closing that Sacral Chakra down to the size of a dime. Disconnecting any imbalances of the Sacral Chakra. Going up into the solar plexus now. Breathing deeply. Exhale, closing that solar plexus down to the size of a dime. Disconnecting any imbalances in the solar plexus. Breathing deeply. Breathing deeply. With every breath you take, you're going to go up to your heart chakra now. We're going to expand that heart chakra as wide as possible, front and back. Opening the center of unconditional love and connection. Going up into the throat, breathing deeply. Opening up the center of communication and expression. Coming up into the third eye now, go ahead and expand that third eye chakra open, opening the center of intuition. Breathing deeply. Your breath is one of the most powerful tools that you have to bring your body into peace, into harmony. So with every breath you take, as you allow yourself to align, we're going to go deeper. I want you to visualize that a beautiful healing color comes up in from the center of the earth. And it's going to come into the body, creating a powerful vortex of energy all around you. Go ahead and visualize that vortex of energy all around you. Moving around you, rotating around you, picking up debris. From source, go ahead and bring down cosmic energy, comes down to the crown of your head, combining with this healing energy. Go ahead, combine that cosmic energy and healing energy all around you. Very good. Okay. We're going to go up into the crown. We're going to go ahead and fill the crown with our creative color. Activate the crown. Go ahead and expand that crown light with your creative color, filling into all the areas of career, abundance, relationships, love, family, health, consciousness, spirituality, and your purpose. As you see your crown expanding with your brilliant light, we're going to go deeper. I want you to begin to review now. This day, we're going to start in the morning as soon as you wake up. I want you to go ahead and see yourself this morning as soon as you open your eyes in bed. And I want you to begin to review any triggers that triggered you to go out of balance. And as you move through your day, from the moment you got up to the rest of your day, as you're carrying on your life, just begin to observe the experiences that trigger you in those moments. Is it someone specific that triggers you? Is it what they say? Is it what they do? Is it the environment? Is it a place that you go to? Is it something that you hear or see around you? I want you to be very attentive, observing yourself throughout the day as you begin to observe all the things that begin to trigger you. See that now. And we're going to connect with our physical bodies as we're reviewing ourselves, as if we're watching a movie. And in this movie, we can see ourselves and we can also feel what we're feeling as we watch ourselves. So as soon as we start to feel a trigger, notice in the body, where in the body it begins to trigger. Notice the emotion. Let's say you get a thought about something fearful. Just notice how your body responds to that thought. And consequently moving through the entire day. And as you observe these thoughts or experiences that trigger you, just kind of begin to observe why you had that belief in that moment. Why did you react that way? Just observe. And we're not answering that question from a place of judgment, but we're answering the question from a place of observation, knowing mechanical responses, the higher self being differently from the ego. So just observe who is reacting in that moment. And if you're not sure if it's the ego or the higher self, just go ahead and notice the kind of emotion that's being felt in that moment. If it's rooted in love, it's the higher self. If it's rooted in fear, chances are it's the ego. So just go ahead and just kind of observe that. And as you review, go ahead and notice yourself in that moment that begins to have that reaction. And I just want you to observe yourself and notice the amount of suffering that you are going through. Notice how those reactions to these triggers put you in a state of suffering. Notice the emotions, the toxic emotions that you might feel in the body, the sensations, the tenseness of the muscles in the body, the anxieties, the fears, the doubts, the constriction, the resistance. Just begin to notice all of your responses and reactions to the trigger, the kind of physiological, emotional, energetic, nervous responses that you have as a result of the trigger. And just see yourself, and I want you to ask yourself, How often do you feel this way? How often are you in a state of being triggered? See yourself. As you begin to broaden your vision to similar situations that have caused the same responses, the same triggers with the same responses. And just notice how much of an impact that has on your life. Take a look at all these parts of you that are in a constant state of survival as a result of these kinds of triggers. What is it that you need from yourself in order to no longer put your body through this kind of reaction? What do you need from yourself? Do you need acceptance? Do you need truth? Do you need self-love? What do you need? You're going to begin to notice how many of your life choices are changed as a result of cultivating this trigger response. Maybe even your spending habits, maybe your daily habits in everyday life, maybe your choices of relationships, activities, career choices, family interactions, family relationships, all a result of this reaction. In order to preserve what? I want you to take a look at the most hurt part of you that is being protected by this reaction. And I want you to take yourself back to the very origin of this part of us that learned that this reaction was the only way to be safe. Take yourself there. I want you to see, perhaps it's one memory of yourself in the past, perhaps it's many memories of yourself. Perhaps you have been doing this all your life to defend, to protect, to survive. And just observe. As you begin to see these experiences of your past, you begin to notice suffering that you have experienced as a result of this survival mechanism. And I just want you to ask yourself, is this belief true? The belief that we adopted, that it could be that we're not worthy enough, that we're not good enough, that we have to behave in a certain way, that we have to control something in order to be safe. that we are protecting something by reacting in this way. Just ask yourself, is it true? Is it true that this actually protects us? Is it true that it actually allows us to survive, to live a quality life of harmony, of joy, of love? Does it bring us closer to what we want most? And I want you to ask yourself, what is it that you want? What do all these fragments, what are they searching for? What do they desire for the most in their existence? Just notice that. And you'll notice it's the same thing that you need from yourself. They desire love, acceptance, approval, connection, being seen, being heard, being loved, being affectionate. Okay, all of these things that you required. I want you to begin to provide all of your fragments, everything that they needed, as you begin to nourish them, to support them, to feed them, to teach them, to embody their highest expression. Show them that it's safe to embody their highest expression. And just notice that the people that, and that are experiencing this with us, the ones that are triggering us, are having the same internal dilemma of not having access to that love, not knowing that they are loved, that they are enough, and perhaps sometimes imposing belief systems of unworthiness around them as a result of their belief systems. And we are on the receiving end of that, just observing. You just notice everything that we took on and just ask yourself, do we believe that? Is that in alignment with our highest expression, our healthiest expression? Knowing that you're observing right now that we are all sharing this burden of unconscious behavior until we become awake, until we become conscious and begin to choose rather than react. So as you allow your fragments to begin to absorb everything that they need, breathing deeply, you're going to go ahead and see all of the people that trigger you, people, places, things, whatever it is that you feel is triggering you, go ahead and seeing them in front of you. And I just want you to observe them. Do they love themselves? Just observe them. What do they need in order to embody their highest expression? Breathing deeply. And as your fragments and all these people, that places, things that have triggered, just notice what is occurring there as they begin to see themselves. They have an opportunity. We're going to gently neutralize the cords that keep us tied to these memories. So just go ahead and see in your body where you have these cords. Okay. Breathing. Okay, we're just going to visualize that we're cutting the cord on their end. And you're going to visualize removing that cord from your body, breathing deeply, letting go. Okay, letting go. Taking back your life force into your body and releasing, letting go, everything that you took on. Breathing deeply. Okay, and I want you to see all of your fragments in front of you from all your life that you have felt this trigger, and you're going to see them merging into one. You're going to inhale deeply, taking back your fragment as you begin to observe how they are different, how they have changed with this new way of experiencing the trigger. And I want you to see that integrated part of you, and I want you to put them in the scenario that was triggering us before. Okay, go ahead and see, how do you react now to the same trigger? Put yourself in that same scenario in which we began, and see yourself now. How do you, as if you froze the experience and you're now pushing the play button, see the new self reacting now to this trigger. What does this self do? Observe them. Do they react the same way? Does it change the scenario? Are there still parts of them that are still in a state of anxiety and survival that still become triggered by this experience? Notice that. Or has it changed? Now that this part of yourself has everything it requires in order to be in harmony, does it respond to these triggers? Observe that. So as you can see, with that replay of that experience, you are training now your entire rest of your body to learn from this replay. So what's happening is that now you're not having the same emotional response, energetic response, nervous system response. And because you did a replay of that scenario in your brain, it's almost as if you are rewriting the memory of that trauma, so that now the reference point becomes this rewritten replay where you are now informed on how to interact in a trigger when that similar trigger occurs again. So as you see that replay now more productive, more creative rather than counter-creative and harmful, taking a deep breath and just begin to check into the body, to all of the muscle memory in the body that's holding on to that resistance, to that fear, to that survival aspect of ourselves that still wants to react, control, be fearful. Just notice if there's any more of that left in the body, and just acknowledge it. Acknowledge, notice where it's in the body, acknowledge it. You're going to be present with those emotions. And the more you're present, the more you bring it to light, the more you bring it forth so that you can begin to work with it. Breathing deeply, not judging the emotion, just observing any kind of sensations in the body that become triggered again. And with the observation, training the body to be in a state of observation anytime we become triggered again. Breathing. Okay. So we're going to start by working at the root chakra at the base of the spine. In the root chakra, we're going to visualize eliminating all of the programs that we have around survival, anything that triggers our need to be in a state of survival. So go ahead and visualize spinning that root chakra as fast as possible. And we're going to ask every cell of the body to begin to become aware of the parts of us that are still triggered by being in a state of survival or feeling unsafe, feeling not protected. Go ahead and check into the body where we're still storing any of those programs. Now we're going to eliminate them out of the body. And we're going to call forth our higher self to come in now and to begin to become present anytime that we begin to feel that we are unsafe. Okay. And in this moment, you're linking a connection between the higher self and protection, safety, being in the body. You're going to go up to your sacral chakra. You're going to do the same. I want you to spin that chakra as fast as possible and search within the body all the parts of us that feel that we are not good enough. We're not enough. We are comparing with others. We have this constant belief of separation, loneliness, disconnect, separation. All of those belief systems that we are incapable of being loved, that we are not worthy of creation, that we are not worthy of our true self. All of these belief systems. Go ahead and visualize neutralizing them in the body. We're going to go up to the solar plexus. Go ahead and search within the body all of the beliefs about not being empowered, about being victimized, about being hopeless, helpless. Go ahead and search within the body all the programs about being helpless, hopeless, disempowered, forgotten, neglected, abandoned. Go ahead and neutralize those belief systems in the body. Let them leave your space now. You're going to go up to the heart now. As you begin to tune into all the belief systems that we are not loved, that we are unworthy, that we are not lovable, that we are disconnected, lonely. This is on the higher level, that you see yourself as separate, that you are incapable of unconditional love, judgment, fears, fragmentation. Search within the body all the parts of us that still believe that we are unlovable, unacceptable. And just gently fact-checking those belief systems. You know, is it true that you are unlovable? Is it true that you are unworthy? And letting them go if we find that they are false. You're going to go up to your throat chakra now. We're going to go ahead and visualize spinning that chakra as fast as possible, eliminating all of the belief systems that we are incapable of speaking our truth. We're incapable of communication, of asking for our needs to be met, of communicating and expressing ourselves lovingly, freely, without judgment, fears of being judged for our beliefs, our expressions, who we truly are. Belief systems around the roles that we play in this society as man, as male, as female. Whatever identity that we take, any fears around what we truly are, the authentic self that feels incapable of being present in its true and optimal expression. Okay, you're going to go up to the third eye now as you begin to search within the body all of the belief systems around our mistrust in ourselves, that we are not trustworthy, that others are not trustworthy. Belief systems that we are not good enough, not powerful enough, that we are separate from the whole. Any disbeliefs that you have about yourself, doubts, angers, the suppression of angers, and resentments towards the self and others. Go ahead and visualize clearing out all of those belief systems. And you're going to go up into your crown now. And I want you to search within the body all the parts of you that feel that you cannot create, that either you're not allowed to create, you're not worthy of creating, you're not capable of choosing your destiny, your life, your purpose. Go ahead and visualize clearing out all of those belief systems from the body. Breathing deeply. Okay. You're going to go ahead and activate now the 7th chakra. Activate the 8th chakra. The ability to see yourself as the non-physical, to see yourself as a soul, as an infinite consciousness. Go up to the 9th chakra as you see yourself as the human race, as the earth, as this organism is an extension of yourself, this planet Earth. As you go up to the 11th chakra, the 10th chakra, as you begin to see yourself as this solar system, the solar system in itself being an organized consciousness, an organism in itself. Ranges of frequency, dimensional planes of existence. Going up into the 11th, as you see yourself in your angelic form, all of the fragments of yourself in the angelic realm, higher states of consciousness, interdimensional aspects of yourself. These can be your starseed origins. Going up to your 12th, you reach the higher consciousness. These are counsels of wisdom on the highest level. See yourself as these higher wisdoms, higher knowing. Going up to the 13th, as you see yourself as light. See yourself as not the physical, but this infinite source of consciousness. And you begin to recognize that you can never be alone because you are not alone. You are everything. It is within your body, and your body is the vessel, access to all. And above you is a powerful white light of source. As you bring that white light down into your body, as you see your physical body underneath you, this beautiful, nurturing body, I want you to nurture the body, this vessel that is a fractal of infinite consciousness. Go ahead and visualize bringing white source light into that body. as you begin to heal and be compassionate for this body, all the triggers that it feels that it has to respond to like a puppet, now you have reintegrated it. You have brought it back to harmony, to peace. And so tomorrow we set the intention that the moment that we wake up in the morning, we're going to be mindful of our emotional body and our reactions and our thoughts, our intentions, so that we can begin to actually become creative rather than counter-creative every moment of our day. So as you anchor that into the center of the earth, aligning your chakras all the way up and opening your eyes and coming back into the room. Welcome back. Excellent. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you so much, TC, for that super chat. Thank you so much, Siobhan. Thank you so much, Carrie Ann Pearl. Thank you so much for that super chat. Really, really means a lot to me, your support. We have a question from Siobhan that says, how do we transmute loneliness when all our friends and family are gone? Maybe that's more grief. So as we kind of discovered in this session, actually, loneliness is the illusion of separation. Now, please understand that not only physically, psychologically, energetically, we are not separate from anything. We feel isolated because we have belief systems that we are separate. We ourselves are judging others in that we believe that we're different from others. Okay, if you have different belief systems from others, we are still human, and we need to be able to look beyond the illusion of the things that we think separate and compartmentalize us. This shift in consciousness into a unity consciousness is essential for the well-being of the human race in the future. And we have to start moving beyond the parts of us that feel constantly disconnected, because that loneliness is a direct reflection that we are disconnected from our source. If we are connected to source, not just connected, if you are the embodiment of source, you understand that you are all, you are everything. You see yourself as that. And you begin to see yourself as light. You see others as light, not that they're family, not that they're friends. You see them as light. And those lights have the free will in order to choose their experience as they choose. And for us, we also have the same. So the healthiest thing, the most loving, compassionate thing is to be an anchor of that infinite consciousness, which means that you're holding space for yourself. And you love this organism of your body so much that you want to maintain it in a state of vital creation, health, vitality, love. And when you start embodying that state of being, you'll probably notice that even those friends and families that want to become separate or are separate, they're going to want to reconnect, but we don't want to do it from that. We want to do it from a place of unconditional love, that we are one and that we're holding space. This is how we become healers. This is the true way to become a healer. So thank you so much for that question. And actually, loneliness was my third choice for tonight. So I'm going to talk about loneliness later this week. So stay tuned for that. Andre, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's so wonderful to have you. Brian Cantu, thank you so much. Angie, thank you for that. Zarelda, thank you so much. Vicky, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much, Vicky Krieger. Heart, much love. Have an amazing week, and I will see you tomorrow. All my love. Bye-bye.